good evening, everyone, and you're listening to a brand new 2018 Deathmatch Russell podcast. We're going to have on the line tonight IWA referee Sean Patrick O'Brien. And we're going to be talking about upcoming IWA shows, ProdigyPro, BlackLablePro, Heros&Legends Wrestling, and GirlFightWrestling. Let's get right into it. Stay tuned. And much, much more. Bringing you the best indie talk across the globe and around the world. Good evening, Ref Sean, and how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you? What's good, man?
I'm
good to talk to you.
I'm good. I just got back from the store from stocking up for the weekend, for this big winter explosion storm we're having here. I'm going to call it the explosion storm. How's that? Let's start a new...
Right. No kidding. Man. Yeah. It's like that all over the world. I mean, all over the country, apparently, because down here in the Kentuckiana area, Louisville, Kentucky, and all that good stuff, it's been... in the negatives, like -1 and -5.
I know, it's cold. But I was born in North Dakota. I'm so used to it, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like a native growing up. Well, not originally.
Oh, man,
but
I'm not.
No, I love the cold, though. I snowboard, too. So, like, I'm an outdoor person,
I can't do the cold. I'm not a fan of it.
No. Well, Happy New Year's to you. Let's start off with the Happy New Year's in 2008.
How was your New Year?
It was quiet, very quiet. I didn't do much. Just watch
we
the
didn't
TV.
do anything at all.
Watch the TV. That's it.
So, we've been, me and my family, me and my wife. I'm married. I have two girls. Two little girls. We actually sat at the house and did absolutely nothing just because we've been so busy. The last few weekends.
Right.
We actually didn't have anything going on.
You know what?
We sat at home.
We didn't. You know what? We could have had an interview podcast on New Year's.
No kidding.
I know.
Yeah.
But now we're doing it now, and this is the real. So let's get right into it.
Good to talk to you, bud. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Just you got a lot on your schedule. I've been seeing you guys. You're kind of busy there with the little IWA, ProdigyPro, Heroes Wrestling, and Girl Fight, and all the other stuff.
Yep. Black Label, IWA, ProdigyPro. Yeah, I work for some really awesome companies.
Yes.
Some really cool stuff going on in the Midwest over this way. Right now. So.
The card looks stacked for the next IWA show. I was just looking at that. I used to go to. I was actually attended IWA for the King of the Death 2016.
Okay.
When John.
Okay. Yeah, I actually started with IWA.
Yeah.
Let's see. I started with IWA. It was the beginning of March. So.
Right.
It was right after this year's Prince of Death.
Yeah.
And literally right after, probably a couple weekends after Prince of Death. So I missed Prince of Death, but I was at King of Death this year, and that was, man, that was an incredible experience.
My friends were there. A lot of my buddies were there. I didn't go this time around. The travel, 12-hour ride.
It was pretty crazy.
12-hour ride. 12-hour ride from New Jersey.
Oh man, yeah, no, I completely understand. Yeah.
I remember I passed out. I passed out in the sun because it was super, super hot that 2016. But I pulled
last year, and it was outdoors too.
I know. I pulled through at the last minute because my friends wanted to say, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" I'm like, "No, I didn't want to stay and watch John become the king." You know,
absolutely. Shout out to Murdoch.
Shout out to Murdoch. He's a good guy. He's a
real good guy. Man. Him and Ricky Shane Page in the finals this past year was wild. I didn't ref that match. John Gray actually refed it.
Good old John Gray.
Ringside.
Good old John Gray. He's a good guy.
John Gray. Yeah, I love John Gray. That's a real good guy. It's a mentor of mine. Somebody I look up to. He actually he was kind of towards the end of his run, I guess, or his break right now, whatever he's taken from working at IWA. Whenever I started, so I just got to barely work with John for a little bit. Soak some of his knowledge. And
I just saw him. I think the last time I saw John was actually at the VOW in Virginia.
Yeah, I know he works on there. VOW.
Very good, cool promotion.
And I think he works. Doesn't he work at GCW too sometimes? I think.
I don't know.
I thought I remember him working maybe one of their.
Maybe he did.
Maybe it,
no.
VOW. It was VOW. They had an event a couple.
They've had They've had some pretty good, solid shows with Murdoch.
It was VOW because actually one of the referees that I work with at IWA, his name is Toby.
Right.
Toby Lee. He had actually worked at VOW and he had actually met John Gray for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was telling him how good of a dude he was, and John Gray is a really good guy.
There's a lot of there's a lot of great guys that we know, and but
absolutely,
but those tournaments,
really good dudes in pro wrestling.
Those tournaments really, those tournaments are really awesome. Like my friend began his first deathmatch tournament, and he was in that last year. So shout out to Drew Chaos. He's a photographer. Nice. He goes to IWA. I'm sure you've seen him. Actually, was in the IWA tryout series. He was in the for the deathmatch
tryout show.
The deathmatch trial show. I think it was.
Oh, see, and that was actually I actually missed that show.
No kidding.
You talking about the show you want to be a deathmatch star?
Yes.
Yeah, I also do music in the Louisville area.
Yes, I heard about that.
R&B.
Drew was
had a show on that particular night.
Yeah, Drew was telling me you are an entrepreneur of singing and this and that. That's pretty good. That's awesome.
Yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Man. I tend to keep pretty busy. Wrestling has kept me really, really busy this year. So I really haven't got to do too much music.
That's what it's all. I know, but you know what? Wrestling. Wrestling is our life.
Hey, man. Well, IWA we run twice a week, and then I have a couple companies I work for on Fridays, and Sundays and stuff. So
it's hectic.
I keep pretty busy.
It's
with wrestling. I love it though. It's
I know
so awesome.
it is. It is.
So.
Yeah. What made you get into reffing? How did you become a ref? What made you?
Actually, the way that I had got into refereeing was kind of accidental, somewhat. As a lot of referees do. I had came across actually my cousin-in-law. He used to wrestle in this area.
Oh, cool.
He wrestled and he booked for a company in this area for a short time.
Right.
That they actually ran for a couple of years, and we were on TV for a little bit and all that good stuff.
Oh, no kidding.
But he had actually kind of started bringing me out to shows and stuff. So I was working security, doing all that good stuff.
Yes. Set up the ring, help out.
Knowledge, all that good stuff, and then. And I guess they needed a referee one particular show, and happened to have a ref shirt. I had black pants at the house, so I brought black pants with me, and lo and behold, I've been reffing ever since. That was probably about 2014.
Oh, that is awesome.
So,
that's pretty.
Yeah. So and then I worked for that company. Pretty much just for that company. For about 2 or 3 years, I'd say, and it was me and another guy that was their main two refs. And, it was all good, and then that company closed down. So I was kind of like, okay, cool.
You could go
I needed
freelance.
to kind of work on my music anyway. I had some other stuff that I wanted to do. And so I kind of started taking the music a little bit more serious. And kind of took a break from the wrestling. And then, but I missed it so much. And I'd actually got brought back into wrestling through a company that was running here in the area.
Yeah.
And then another guy who was working there had told me that IWA was looking for some referees.
You're like, oh.
And I was
like,
and that
sure.
was probably about, I'd say 2 weeks back into it.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
I've pretty much been working at IWA ever since I got back into it, and that's pretty much just snowballed into.
Ian's a great guy. Ian's a great guy.
Oh yeah. Ian's awesome. He's a really good dude. Yeah, he means well for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, but he's slowing it down.
Smart guy to the business.
Slowing it down though.
He books some of the crazy.
He has this month of TPI. There's so many.
Man.
Oh my God.
This whole year, he's really booked some really awesome stuff. I mean, just like, for instance, just this weekend, the show coming up tomorrow,
right?
With Shane Strickland and Myron Reed, like, that match is going to be just crazy.
That's going to be really high flying. That's
absolutely,
those the high fly. They're the high flyers of the business,
Yeah. And then you got Jimmy Jacobs and Aaron Williams.
Oh yes, the rematch.
Going to be a tag team match. So.
Oh yeah, that's going to
be. But yeah, Ian's booking some really, really cool stuff, and he's been booking stuff all year.
Yeah,
Just been really cool stuff, all the way down to like King of the Death Match, and like you said, TPI.
Yeah.
Just how how that whole entire tournament went, and stuff like that. So,
I know.
Some really cool stuff going on at IWA. But yeah, I anyway, like I said, I started refereeing at IWA probably about March,
right?
And I've been with them ever since, and then ended up linking up with some guys.
Yes.
In the locker room, just meeting guys or whatever at IWA, to where now it's gotten me to BlackLablePro and like ProdigyPro,
and GirlFight,
and GirlFight, and companies like that. So so yeah, man, it's been a really, really cool year since I've gotten back into it. You know what I mean? Because I've really been back into it for about a year now.
Yeah. But now the scene is booming, man. This scene is booming. You know that. Like,
especially in this area,
I know.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And in my area too. Come on, man. I'm sure.
Right. No, yeah,
I was just gonna say.
Well, like I wanted to talk about that too, definitely, because
you're looking at.
As a wrestling fan, I pay attention to everything.
You got
it. What I'm saying, going on and stuff like that. I like to pay attention and see what's going on and stuff, and I definitely watch a lot of East Coast stuff.
Yeah.
Of course. I just recently started watching CZW ever since I had kind of got into to the IWA scene, I guess, or whatever. And just because there's a lot of guys that wrestle for us that wrestle up there.
Yeah, and Rockstar Pro there's a lot of guys that.
And then GCW also. Both companies that I would love to get up to. Man, it'd be awesome. I can get up to CZW or GCW somehow.
I'll talk to my buddy.
But yeah, man, y'all are killing it up there.
I'll talk to my buddy.
What do y'all got going on up there?
You seen that list that I got in front of you? Jeez.
Oh yeah, that you sent me. Right.
You want to read it off? Go ahead, read it off. I got a lot there. I mean, I could go out. First things first. It's going to be On Point Wrestling. Is one of the promotions I've been going to. 2000. Jeez, it's been around for a while now,
Right.
Quite a while, and they have the 5th year anniversary, and it's going to be Nick Gage versus Scott Summers, the return match. Like, Scott Summers twisted his ankle actually at a GCW show, and so we were waiting until he came back and healed up, but we weren't known, but that's like,
right. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting matchup, definitely.
But there's one match that I'm actually looking also that match, of course that's my favorite match, but the one match I'm looking forward to is Teddy Hart versus Tony Deppen. 100% Tony Deppen. Really, two of the Tony's like the East Coast. He's like everywhere. He's like a top star on the East Coast.
Definitely, yeah.
And he's taking on a legend, Teddy Hart. Come on, Teddy
Hart, right? He's been all over the place. He's a Hart. I mean, definitely somebody I'm looking forward to working with here coming up soon.
Yeah. Teddy's pushing. Teddy's pushing because he had a little problem with the with probation or drugs. And this. Everybody always. I know. Yeah. You know how that goes. Then they get back into it.
Right, absolutely, yeah. I'm saying I would love to get a chance to work with Teddy Hart somehow, just because I've been a fan of his for the last few years, and I've been kind of paying attention to what he's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of recently came across him, I guess, in the last 5 years.
Yeah, Teddy is one of those guys.
He does some really incredible things.
He does.
For sure.